Success as a real estate agent. All right, let's dive right on in. Confidence. Confidence. I believe that early in my sales career, confidence was my secret edge. Even when I was new to the game, I was confident that I was the best agent for the seller, the result of a deeply grooved expectation of victory that came from athletics. Where have you experienced victories? Tap into those experiences as you pump up your confidence in preparation for prospect presentations. If you lack confidence, determine what you need to do to increase your belief in yourself and your ability to achieve success. What activities may have increased your confidence? What skills do you need to master to dramatically affect your confidence? What one thing, if you do it with excellence, will change your self-confidence? Webster defines confidence as a belief in one's powers or abilities. The great motivator Napoleon Hill says, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." I saw evidence of this truth a few years ago while working with a great agent in North Carolina. She didn't have confidence in herself, nor did she think she was a great agent. Even when she closed 100 units a year, she was still self-sabotaging her success. I asked her to write out her standard of a great agent. She did so with great and significant clarity. 6 months later, she had met the standard, but was still in self-sabotage mode. Fortunately, I'd saved her written document and could repost it to her as a proof of her success. She has never looked back. Assertiveness. Agents don't want to come off as pushy or aggressive in their sales approach, and they mistakenly shy away from assertiveness as well. My definition of a great salesperson is a person who convinces someone to do something that is beneficial to them or convinces them to do it faster. Going for the close or asking for the order isn't pushy. It's assertive. As a real estate agent, your job is to persuade prospects that you have to best service, the best value, and the highest probability of success. You must convince them to sign up for benefits you provide now. One of the easiest ways to exert your assertiveness is to tell the prospects it's coming. Early in the presentation, explain, at the end of my presentation tonight, provided we're all in agreement, we'll finalize the paperwork so I can begin to work for you right away. This bit of foreshadowing may prove useful should you encounter resistance at the time of the close, at which time you can use one of these scripts. This should be no surprise. I told you I would ask for your business. You want me to follow through on what I commit to, don't you? I'm proving to you right now that I follow through, right? Listen, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, homes are sold, not bought. Conversion of lead is so low because many agents lack assertiveness with the buyer. So my question is, do you want an agent who you know for sure will ask every buyer to buy, or do you want an agent you just hope will do that, which gives you more comfort? Being assertive is selling is a good thing. Staying in control, agents lose control of the listing presentation. When they allow the seller's agenda to take over the discussion, I've listened to agents who lost control to the seller in the first 5 minutes. The problem for most agents is that if they lose control, they don't have the skill to wrestle it back. The seller's agenda is simple. They want to know what their home is worth. They want to know what you do to sell it and what you charge for your service. And for sure, they want to know what they'll put in their pockets when the deal is done. If the sellers cause you to orient your presentation to the order of their interests, you won't walk out with the listing. If you talk about the listing price of the home and your fee structure before you've built trust, credibility, and value for your service, you'll lose every time. Don't ever follow the seller's agenda. Setting the agenda early on, the most powerful technique is to have an actual order or agenda you follow. To type it out to hand to the seller saying, "Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I found this presentation order to most effective for my clients like you. It allows me to present you with the important facts, marketplace strategies, and benefits you receive as my client. In addition, I'll have plenty of time to answer all your questions so you're completely comfortable with your decision. Would it be all right with you if we follow this agenda for our meeting?" You can put your agenda on one of the first slides in your slide deck. I suggest also having it printed and high quality paper. This enables you to hand it to the sellers as well. It gives them something tactical to hold. When you ask them to approve it, it's in their hands. The agenda also clearly tells them the following things. You are organized and professional. You have thought this through. You aren't making it up as you go. You have a plan. Keeping on track, your agenda may look like this. Review agenda for the meeting. Do visual inspection of the property. Discuss clients' goals, needs, and expectations of me. Discuss my professional credentials. Determine the value of your home. Select the initial list price. Complete the paperwork so I can begin serving you. The last item needs to be on your agenda. It alerts the clients in advance that you're going to close it. In fact, etch all 7 items in stone. Don't move them or rearrange them. You have to build trust, credibility, and value in that order, or you lose. When the seller brings up a point that may cause you to abandon your presentation plan, pick up the agenda sheet and ask, would it be all right to discuss that when we get to this point in the presentation? Dealing with sales objections. Sales objections are part of selling. For most people in sales, they present an immovable object in the road to your success. Real estate agents often freeze when presentation with a sales objection. They don't know what to do or say in the face of this perceived danger. Consider the radical concept. Sales objections are actually good. Now that I've blown your circuits, let me explain. You can't sell anything significant without sales objections. Sales objections indicate an evaluated level of interest, desire, or motivation to buy what you're offering. Think of them as requests for more information. The prospect is saying, I need more information. If I like the information you give me, I'll do business with you. What could be better than that? The key is to know how to deal successfully with objections when the prospect raises them. In this section, I give you advice about how to do that. Delaying or defying objections. One of the best ways to delay objections is to refer to your approved agenda saying, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would it be all right if I answered your question when we get to item number 5 on our agenda? That's where we discuss. Better than 40% of the time, the sellers won't bring up the sales objection again. You handle the sales objection by delaying its arrival. Using your agenda to delay objections is particularly important when the concern deals with the recommended list price or the cost of your service. Don't ever respond to pricing concerns until you determine the seller's wants, needs, and expectations and establish the value of your service. Handling objections in 4 easy steps. Objections are inevitable, so be ready to deal with them following this 4-step system. Pausing. When an objection arises, hear the client out completely, then pause to collect your thoughts and, for many salespeople, to lower what may feel like raising blood pressure. Pause to ensure that you have heard the objection completely. Don't try to cut the person off. I've watched salespeople interrupt as if they're hoping to stuff the words back into the client's mouth before they're even out. This is the biggest mistake you can make. It demonstrates rudeness and insensitivity. Acknowledging concerns after hearing the objection and pausing to consider it, acknowledge the concern. This confirms that you understand what the client said, and it also gives you a few moments to consider and prepare your response. Notice nothing in the previous paragraph advises you to agree with the client. You can acknowledge the concern and thank the client for bringing it up without saying that it's right. You can acknowledge by using any of these phrases. I understand your concern in this area. That's a really terrific question. I'm glad you asked. I can see where that might cause you concern. One of my favorite techniques is to follow acknowledgement of a concern with a question or comment that probes for more information. The following response gives you an opportunity to learn more while also buying a few moments to develop a response. I understand your concern in this area. Why do you feel that way? I can see where that might cause you concern. Tell me more. Isolating concerns. I think we're gonna take a little break. Thank you so much for taking the time to read Success with Real Estate with me. I'll see you guys later. Bye.